ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you for joining us for our Friday weather update for December the 16th. One more week to go before we get to Christmas Day. So we've got the latest forecast for Christmas plus the build up to it. So let's get into the build up because a fair amount of low pressure around, typical La Nina weather carrying on in New Zealand. You know, the last two La Nina events, our weather in New Zealand was not very La Nina-esque. I mean, we didn't have a lot of humidity, we didn't have a lot of rain and cloud that was widespread day after day, whereas the last 4 or 5 weeks have been classic La Nina weather in the New Zealand area. And this map sort of shows all this low pressure still up in the tropics, but this main low in the Tasman Sea is also helping to pull down more northerlies. So we've still got more of that humid weather, more rain and downpours, but there's also some dry weather on the way as well. This big high south of Australia is about to bulldoze this system apart. And so by the end of next week, it crosses over the South Island and by Christmas Day should be out here just east of the Chatham Islands. Up in the tropics, we've got a low pressure zone just near the Cook Islands, bringing in a bit of rain, but nothing too serious. In fact, despite La Nina being sort of in its peak, we're not really seeing a lot of storms up in the tropics. It's not as bad as it could be. Hopefully it stays that way. So let's have a look at the forecast as we go into this weekend. So the low in the Tasman that we just saw is falling apart as this big high sort of bulldozes in, but also to the south, it extends out and that kind of cuts off the southerly flow that helps that low stay alive. So the low falls apart and the cold front detaches from it, which means a bit of a messy forecast for Saturday around the North Island because that front moves in and falls apart as it does so, sort of one step forwards, one step backwards, which makes it a little tricky to work out just how much rain will fall. Some of you will only have drizzle and a few light showers. Others might get a downpour or two that makes your rainfall totals a bit higher. Inland areas are more likely to see those heavy falls. And later on, the colder southerly starts to come into Southland and your temperature really starts to drop. For Australia, easterly winds are pretty much the dominant feature. Quite incredible, really, when you look at that all the way from Cairns to Melbourne and all the way across to Perth and Broome. So easterlies are the dominant feature for Australia at the moment. Now by Sunday, low pressure in the Tasman's still there, but it is falling apart. That front has fallen apart. Look how broken it is, but it's sort of remaining stuck over the country. And due to the low pressure in that area, it's sort of making an unstable atmosphere. So that means you can wake up with cloud and drizzle and a few showers, or dry when you wake up, and then in the afternoon big downpours could bubble up, especially inland. Now the South Island's got a different setup, colder with those easterly winds. Take a look at the temperatures. You're seeing daytime highs of like 11 and 12 and things like that. So not overly warm, and that's the same cold change that Australia just had in the earlier days of this week. So how does next week shake up? Well, we have more downpours around the country. It's not necessarily raining from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. As I said yesterday, take a look at your rainfall totals. That will help you work out how wet the day will be because you're going to be seeing a lot of rain icons showing up in your forecasts. And when you take a look at the rainfall total, you might see a rain icon with only 2 millimeters, which is not a very wet day. So it just gives you an understanding that this is a mixture of drizzle, showers, and some heavy downpours. Colder at one end, warmer at the other end. And in Australia, again, those easterly winds turning more nor'east, so they'll be warming up in places like Adelaide and other parts of South Australia in particular. As we move through next week, Tuesday sees that system fall apart, showers again around the country, long dry spells in there too, but I know many of you are getting tired of this setup, which is why you'll like that high. It's going to be rolling in and drying things out for a time. As you can see here, as we move through to the middle of next week, the high is coming through. We've still got downpours. This is not rain solidly all day. It's more likely a burst of showers that sort of tracks along and then some more might sort of bubble up around it. So it's one to keep an eye on. This is definitely not locked in the way it's looking, other than we're pretty confident that high is rolling through. But exactly the placement of those showers, that could certainly change. And over in Australia, in comes the cold front for Adelaide, but actually pretty hot northerlies coming down for Melbourne and into Tasmania and for inland parts of New South Wales. Now let's go to Christmas Day. Our latest update hasn't changed a great deal, but today I thought I'd put on there 2 maps for you showing morning versus afternoon, because for New Zealand that's quite relevant. So mostly dry in the morning at this stage based on this one model. Remember, it's not locked in, it's just the best thinking at this stage. But this will mean easterlies. So there could be some cloud and showers in that corner and northwesterlies coming down here. Over in Australia, still a bit showery and cooler with that sou'wester, but not as bad looking as it was a couple of days ago. Now, when we fast forward into the afternoon, 3 o'clock New Zealand time, 1 o'clock in Australia on the east, these are classic afternoon downpours. 1, 2, 3 areas of them there. So for those of you who are experienced with a La Nina summer, this is a classic La Nina summer. So Christmas Day could be pretty nice, but then these big afternoon downpours are forming within these blue zones. Again, this is not locked in, but just a sort of general understanding of what might be going on Christmas Day. So it looks warm and fairly dry, but these downpours certainly could be one to keep an eye on. And in Aussie, again, the westerlies carry on with a couple of showers down here, but not as bad as it was looking. Still got that stormy weather. It's behind the Christmas Day sign there. And in Queensland, you're probably the wettest with a humid easterly carrying on. And through the tropics, similar kind of setup, humid, pretty warm, and tropical as we go into Christmas Day and afternoon. We will continue to update this across next week. We're being asked by a lot of people about it. I know the rain at the moment is intense for some people, but the good news is we are expecting some breaks. It's not going to be raining non-stop, but most days do come with some risk. So just sort of prepare for more wet weather, but also keep in mind, look at those rainfall totals and just see just how much is on the way. Hopefully you can work around that wet weather. That's all from me for today. Have a good weekend. Back again on Monday for our final week of videos as we head towards Christmas and New Year's Eve. We'll see you Monday.